How to change your life without moving away. Let's go. I want you to think about this for a moment, right? Who are most of your friends, right? Who are they? When you really think about who the friends are in your life, the people you're close with, who actually are they? What you'll actually realize is that most of the people you're actually friends with are usually just people from school. My handwriting is so shit, but ignore that. Or work, right? When you really think about all the people you're friends with, right? It's usually people from one of these two spots, either school or work, right? But here's the thing. You want success, right? You might want a high quality relationship with like a beautiful feminine woman. You might want a lifestyle like this where you're making money. You might be living in a nice house like that. You might have a car like this, right? And you might even have a lifestyle like this, right? Maybe you're doing like a combat sport like boxing or MMA. Maybe you're taking girls on dates, right? You can see this beautiful picture here. Someone's having like a really nice meal with a girl. Someone's traveling, right? You might want to go to Bali or Spain or Italy or all these amazing places the world has to offer. Or you might even just want to be like living like this, right? That was so shit. Ignore that. Like this, right? Imagine there's three beautiful girls, you've got your boys, you're around like a really nice apartment, right? Or like you're in a really nice house. You might want to even live like that, right? So, what I'm going to say might sound harsh, but if you want to live this sort of life where you have like this relationship, you have the money, you have the lifestyle, and you want to have all three, no one's going to tell you this, right? The people around you, your friends, your co-workers, your peers, they are going to heavily influence all of these things, right? That was another shit scribble. They're going to heavily influence these. That was another shit scribble. They're going to heavily influence your relationships and who you get with, the amount of money you make, and even just the lifestyle you have, right? So because of that, you can very quickly just understand that your friends are going to very, very quickly just influence these things. So because of that, this is the thing I want to ask. Are you really going to find your people in your hometown, right? Because chances are you live in a small hometown like I do, right? Are you going to find your people in your hometown? And when I say your people, I mean the people that you can connect with and link to this, right? The people who push you towards these things and help you get towards these things. Are you really going to find your people that relate to this in your hometown? Right, because there's something if it drags up and if it lets me zoom in, let me just get rid of this and that. Let's read this. So your hometown, right? I mentioned a hometown being a small place. Your hometown is the smallest place like compared to the whole world, right? And this is London, right? A large city like London has an area of 1,572 kilometers per square, whatever that means, right? The whole of London is 0.000000308% of the entire world's surface, right? The entire Earth's surface. Compared, yeah, so literally even smaller, 0.0015%. And if you read the bottom, even a large city like London is about 1/10,000th of 1% of Earth's land. So small that, yeah, literally. Chances are you don't really live in London, right? London's a huge capital city of the world, right? You live in a smaller town than that. Because of that, are you really going to find your people in your hometown, right? Like I said before, the same people that align with this, want the relationship, want the money, want the lifestyle. Are you going to find your people in the small hometown that you live in? Probably not, right? And this is where I'm going to go into the sacrifice I made to make amazing progress in my life and the sacrifice I had to make to get to where I am. And this is the sacrifice I made. I remember it was in October of 2024. I was dating this girl and I remember we were dating for like a few months and we broke up when I started college, so in September. And I remember during our breakup, it was a very messy breakup. Like I found out she cheated and stuff like that. It was like a huge thing. And what actually happened is I wasn't using social media at the time. So during this period, I was just getting loads and loads of messages. So I'll give context to this in a second, but my phone was basically the only way people could contact me. So my messages and my phone was like my number. If you had my number, that's the only way you could contact me. So I remember I had my phone. This looks like an iPad, so I'm gonna delete that. I had my phone. It looks more like a phone. Why has it done that? I had my phone. Okay, I don't know why it's done that. One more time. I had my phone, right? And every other day I was getting like a message from like random different numbers, right? And I was getting death threats. Loads of people were saying like, Ryan, you're a horrible person. And if you're in the UK, you'll know what I'm talking about. I was getting loads of numbers from like +44. So you could tell it was like real people, right? +447, whatever, right? And I was getting loads and loads of random numbers from like random people saying, Ryan, I'm gonna fuck you up. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And I had loads of people doing random things. And it got to a point where my phone was just getting blown up, right? I was getting calls from no caller ID. Random people wanted to try and fight me and shit. And I literally had no clue what to do. And at this moment, right, like I was also heartbroken at the time as well. So my entire life was kind of fucked up, right? That's just context. But in simple terms, what I decided to do was I decided to change my number, right? And this was the very picture I took when I did that. And what happened was, I remember I was getting so many messages and I just felt so shit about myself to the point where I was like, I need to change. Something in my life has to change. Something that I'm doing needs to change. The things I'm doing in my life needs to change. So I just decided to just snap my SIM, right? This is the where is it? This is the SIM card I had. Let me try and draw it. That's the SIM card I had. And I remember this was like at 11 p.m. And I decided to just rip out my phone, use the SIM ejector tool, get my SIM out. And then I just snapped my SIM. I can't draw. I've never done these before. I just decided to snap my SIM, right? And then all of a sudden, all of these memories that I had from when I was 12 years old, getting my first number, when I got my first number and I was going on WhatsApp and messaging all my friends, all of that was gone. Because from the ages of about 11 to 16, if I can draw, I had the exact same number. And what's interesting about that is everyone I knew from my past life, the people I went to school with, the people I networked with when I was like a teenager in the gym and stuff, right? Just small people that I'd met and the people that I would just kind of connect with like in year 8 and year 9 and stuff like that would have my number. And that number I kept for about 5 years, right? That's 5 years. I kept for 5 years. And in one night I managed to all of it just disappeared, right? That number had gone. And essentially 5 years of numbers and contacts saved had just been deleted, right? And keep in mind, during this time I had like 300 contacts of just random people I knew from school and random people that I just had added, right? Like random girls in my year group, random guys in my year group, and just people I didn't talk to. And to add to that, I was getting spammed as well after I broke up with this girl, and I was getting like framed as the bad guy. And yeah, the sacrifice I made was I changed my number, and honestly that was the best thing I did. And I'm going to try and get you to do that, and here's why. I just want to tell you the importance of your number, right? Your number is your energy, right? You don't think about it in that way. Your number is your energy. And when you give your number to someone, like, so for example, if you have your phone and you give your number to someone, you're giving people access to your life. And not a lot of people actually realize that. You give people access to your life through your number because you're giving a part of yourself to them. Like I said here, you're dishing out parts of yourselves for other people to collect. If you're giving your number to someone, it's kind of like you're exchanging part of yourself and you're giving someone access, which is something specific. And there's another thing I added here. Do you think celebrities dish out their number to everyone? This is a very unorganized setup, but I've never, hold on. Do you think celebrities and people of accolade and fame and status are just dishing out their number to everyone? Do you really? No, they're not, right? Obviously they're not. If people are higher status and they're high level, they're not just going to give their number to anyone, right? It's just common sense, right? You're not going to get Kanye West to give you his number. So with that, I just want to tell you something. Build some fucking standards, right? I'm hoping by this point you've kind of been motivated enough to change your number like I have. And I've actually done this recently as well, so there's no excuse. But build some fucking standards, right? When you have your contacts list, have like specific rules. So say to yourself, you're only going to add X type of person. That type of person could be someone that you, for example, it could be a value you have. So for example, only add someone who goes to the gym, only add someone who's got an online business, only add someone you're going to keep around for the next few years. Because this links into the second question I've wrote down is, will they cause growth or decline? And you're probably thinking, what does that mean? It means, will me having contact with this person, me having someone's number, is that going to cause me to grow in a specific way, or is that going to cause me to decline? Because loads of people don't think about it like this. Because if you're just giving your energy to everyone, you're not really valuing yourself in a certain way. So yeah, is that person that you're going to get your number from, or get their number from, are they going to cause growth and decline? And the last question is, can you learn from this person? Right, think about someone in your contacts, right? It could be me, it could be anyone. Obviously, you don't have my number, but if you have like a specific person in your contacts, right? Can you learn from this person? Does this person have intellect? Does this person have knowledge? Does this person have life experience? Because if they do, there's a very high chance that that person is going to help you with becoming a better person, right? And that's the whole, what's going on? That's the whole part of human development, right? To try and learn and develop, right? So ask yourself, can I learn from this person? These are just a few questions that I would ask myself if I was going to add someone's contact. But you can add more, you can add less. It's up to you, right? And here's another thing that loads of people get worried about, because I've helped out a few people before, and they always say they worry about people leaving. And I always say, the number one thing I always say to that is, don't worry about people leaving. And the reason why I say that is because the right people will make themselves known, like I've said here. The right people will make themselves known. Like, let's say you change your number, the right people will try and come to you in person. The right people will try and like get your number. Right, you'll get the right numbers back. Like I put here, you'll get the right numbers back, and like I said, the right people make themselves known to you. So for example, if you have like a lifelong friend, and he's a lifelong friend and he's authentic to you, you'll see him again. He'll ask for your number and so on. So don't worry about people leaving. Sometimes you're not really aligned with someone. Sometimes things happen. And that's just life, right? That's just something I wish I knew. And it's just that things will happen and you need to be okay with sitting in that pocket and maybe feeling slightly uncomfortable, maybe feeling slightly sad or upset. And that's totally normal, because I've gone through that, and I know loads of guys that I'm friends with and I've coached, and they've also experienced that. But yeah, I mean, I just wanted to talk about the importance of what I did, because it changed my life the most. I know loads of guys they fantasize over moving somewhere new and starting a new life. And the thing is, you can kind of do that without moving away, which is what I did. I became a completely different person just by doing that one thing that I did in October of 2024. And it's just changed my life so much, especially because I don't use social media. There's like no other way that someone can have access to me. So I just thought this video would be very, very useful to those of you that kind of, you want to change, you want to move away, you want to do these like sort of things where you want to just signify change to yourself. The easiest thing you can do is change your number, because that's what I did, right? It's such a small, insignificant thing. And if you look at any other YouTuber who's making videos, if you look at any other guy, they might even talk about random things about how you need to move your like shoes in a certain position, or they'll tell you some random shit. This is what I did. It helped me the most, and I'm hoping it can help you. So if you enjoyed this video and you like the video, make sure you comment down below. And I've got new things coming your way. It's been a while since I've uploaded, and yeah, I'm excited for the future. So yeah, as always, there's always one last thing I'll say before I go, and it's that always strive for excellence, because great things will come your way.